bitches, every city in my tribe. Look behind. Booty dominate the world, peaches ripe.
Hey, I won't stay on here long because I know you're trying to debate. So I just wanted to further some of the arguments, a lot with your last one, but also with your last one, or one of your last ones last night. As far as morality goes, I just feel like it shouldn't even be considered as an argument because it's really a narcissistic viewpoint to say my morals should be everybody's morals. And if you don't believe that, then you're wrong. And laws should be based off my personal morals, which is kind of, crazy because my morals say that the woman and the father of the child, the mother and the father of the child should not be subjugated to a baby because they had sex. And to say that your morals are the deciding line of people's legality is just like a very narcissistic viewpoint, almost
That's very
like,
self-righteous.
is it? Yeah, self-righteous. Yes, but I remember looking at the psychology of it too. It's like, I challenge you to ask them that because your last person you were debating with couldn't even like follow along your basic metaphors that you were giving him with the other examples. So,
I know, and I tried to talk about nuance of life, and I could just see it wasn't going anywhere. So, no,
it
and
just
I
wasn't
agree
causing.
with you. I don't mind debating morality because I do think in some instances it is a guide that we might, base our society or laws off of, but I would rather look at morality through scientific reasoning and philosophical arguments. And it's
Yeah,
hard
that's a
to
good point.
have a conversation with someone when they don't want to do that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and it's just really hard because his morals were crossing over into he came into that argument with beliefs of bodily autonomy, and bodily autonomy can't have conditions assigned to it. Then it's not bodily autonomy. And he was like, I absolutely believe in bodily autonomy. Oh, wait, Shimp could have lived if he gave the bone marrow. Well, now I don't believe in it. Now I don't believe in bodily autonomy. And, now that we're cross referencing it with abortion, yeah, no, I don't believe in it in that case. Well, then you don't believe in bodily autonomy, period, because it can't come with
Right.
conditions like that,
And
period.
then
And
it's funny how pregnancy is like, whenever I bring up, I'm like, oh, so women are just incubators now. Then they like kind of wheel back, like, no, 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 that's not what I said. I'm like, that's exactly what you said.
right, exactly. So, and I mean, and I know a lot of people come in with the vaccine argument saying, well, I don't want to get the vaccine. Do I have bodily autonomy? Absolutely. But businesses don't have to let you inside of them if you're not vaccinated. That's their,
Yeah,
autonomy.
glad you brought this up because I did bring this up in a different debate. I went to someone else's debate. I don't like when people compare the vaccines to pregnancy and abortion because it's not contagious. I feel
Right,
that a better analogy would be smoking. Like, do you have the freedom to smoke? Sure. I was a
yes,
former smoker like 10 years ago. But are you allowed to smoke in airplanes, in restaurants, in public spaces? You're not. There's
right,
limitations to it. And so that's
right,
where the vaccine is more analogous, is when we look at smoking. Because
exactly.
I have not met one anti vaxxer where I'm like, so you just want to let people smoke wherever they want? They're like, no. I mean, they see the correlation.
Right, exactly. And even with smoking, the second hand does impact someone's health. So,
Right. And that's
but
why
that
they
that
don't
is
allow it in public spaces.
right,
So it's
exactly.
just, it really, really makes me mad when people try to compare it to pregnancy because
Yeah,
it's just a bad comparison.
right. So I wasn't even going to come on and say that, and with that last guest, but I was going to say from last night there was a lot of people are, and I know this happens a lot where people are arguing, taking precautions, Plan B, all these different things, and there's a lot of
Oh, with that Let's
issues
Go
with that.
Brandon lady? God, she was
I think
annoying.
I think so, yeah. And she's her. If I'm thinking of the right guest from last night, she's coming from a really emotional stance because she lost a child, and a lot of people shift their viewpoints because of this emotional pull that they have towards with it. But for her, sorry, I'm walking my dog, so I'm out of breath. Anyway, I saw some comments telling me to breathe. But with her, Plan B doesn't work on everybody. It's
Well,
there.
and I don't think she really understood what Plan B did.
Yeah, but there's other guests on here. They're like, well, if you take precautions, well, the precautions don't always work. And the sad fact is abortion is really the only option that's foolproof from pregnancy because every other form of birth control has a lower percentage of actually, if there's no guarantee. And even with abstinence does not prevent you from being sexually assaulted. So I don't think that, I think it's very classist. I think it's very, there's not everybody has access to these beans. And if they do, they don't always work on everybody. And to bring that up as an argument is a very limited scope of the world. And even, you know, in the United States alone, but also the rest of the world, you know, not every country has access to Plan B. And so to punish somebody by having sex, even if they took all, I mean, I know people that exist while their parents conceived them on birth control that they took every day at the same time every day. And
yeah, 51% of abortions that occur due to failed contraceptives. Right, which is exactly. Actually down from 54%.
So is that, you know, one of the gentlemen you had on was saying, you know, you play adult games, you have to live with adult consequences. Well, is that a consequence for taking the right precautions? It just doesn't really add up, you know, because if you're thinking about pregnancy,
it's just a weak argument to me, because to me, you're pretty much saying that pregnancy and childbearing are punishments. And exactly. You're also criticizing people for not being responsible enough in sex, yet you want to give them a baby. Like it just doesn't. Again,
it doesn't add up.
It's just self-righteous.
It's self-righteous. It comes back to this argument.
And I think that guy was misogynistic.
Yeah, well, most of them are, but it's just this idea that like you're my judge, you're my judge, jury. Your morals should be my morals. You know, my morals go along with a different scope, and you know, religion and morality. We can talk about it all day, but we shouldn't be imparting that morality onto people as to determine how the rest of their life is going to go. And with bodily autonomy, you know, you can't condition it with well, there has to be a good reason to not do something or to do something. I don't care if your life depends on the abortion or if you're just wanting to go on vacation and you just don't feel like being pregnant. It doesn't matter. There shouldn't be conditions with this. And if you don't believe in that, great. You don't have to have the abortion, but to make laws over women's bodies with this not weird, but this very limited morality of what's in your heart, what's in your brain, a conscience, whatever, it's that is wrong. So I just wanted to further those points for the next few guests, because I keep seeing the repeated argument, and it's so limited to the actual scope of the world and not our privileged white American society that does have access and resources to all this stuff. So I know you only want to debate. I apologize. I'm going to hop off.
Oh, no worries. It's nice to take a break sometimes. So yeah, no, let me give you a follow. Thanks so much for coming on, and you're welcome anytime.
Thanks. You take care.
You too.
Bye.
I'm so fucking cute, bitch.